and we are here today to talk to you about the sustainability of you. Welcome everyone for being here, and this is a great topic, and one that I've actually spent a lot of time on this topic, on this subject with my clients, and I spend a lot of time on this subject for myself. It's an important topic, and in order for us to really show up in the world like we want to be showing up, to show up in our full amazing selves that you all are, to reconnect with 4 areas you need to pay attention to if you want true balance in your life. And then finally, we're going to pull in some aha lessons from the prior jam sessions that we've done over the last 5 months. So let's dig in here. Sustainability. What does sustainability mean to you? Does anybody want to jump in and share? What does sustainability mean to you? How about you, Debbie?
I'm thinking of roots on a tree.
Nice. Expand on it. Keep going.
I'm like, but that's all I have.
Yeah, but I mean, the roots on a tree is a great visual, right? What's happened to those roots as they get down into the earth?
They really grip in and take hold and know where they stand and where home is, and reach out for nutrients and bring that up to the rest of the tree.
Yeah, yeah, and it creates that strong trunk, right?
Yes, yes.
The strength of that tree. Oh, I love that. That's an awesome analogy. Each of you are here because you have a calling to do amazing things in this world. You've got a strong sense of purpose. You've been working hard to make your time yours. You've been putting first things first. You've been considering your relationship priorities and learning new listening skill sets, or maybe even just catching back into learning listening skill sets that you've had your whole life, but just practicing them again and really becoming cognizant of how you are listening. You're doing all kinds of, you're incorporating all of this into your work that you're doing today. To be amazing learners, leaders, coaches, teachers, the list goes on. You're here all for a reason to keep growing and expanding this. So what happens when you put your nose to the grindstone and you get so busy you forget to eat? You forget to go to the bathroom, for God's sake. It's what happens when you haven't spoke to your bestie for months and months because you've been so busy that you just haven't time to even pick up the phone and call her. You can't slow down enough to hear your heart calling, your body calling, and your soul calling. Our ability to be awesome starts to shrink when that happens. I want to repeat that. Our ability to be awesome starts to shrink when we don't take care of ourselves. Our impact in the world isn't as bold as it could be, and you get tired, just plain worn out. Today we're going to give you a few tiny gifts that help you sustain your ability to rock on, and these things take time, attention, but they pay huge rewards. So 4 core areas that we're going to talk about today are body, mind, emotion, and spirit. I think those of you who are my clients know that I passionately study what makes us healthy, well-rounded adults. If you're a client of mine, you know I've always got multiple books that I'm reading at any given time, and somehow I am always reading the right book at the right time for me and for my client's journey. It's really awesome. People like Stephen Covey and even the Native American culture have looked and theorized about what makes up our existence. And something that they all agree on is that we have these four core areas that drive our ability to be effective and to live our magnificent missions. These four core areas, again, are body, mind, emotion, and spirit. we're going to start with body. And this is one that I've actually been spending a lot of time in this year. This has been an area that that I myself really wanted to make a commitment to in 2015 to take better care of myself, about the fuel that I put into my body, the movement that I do, getting better sleep, and making time for relaxation. You know, one question to really think about, if you had just had a heart attack, what would you chance today about how you take care of your body? This is the fuel of what keeps us going and keeps our bodies in motion. So who can tell me something about how you honor your bodies? What do you do, and how does it impact your life? I'd love to hear from you. Ellen, how about you?
So I'm with you, Tammy. I made a pact to myself this year to start taking better care of my body as well. I've had a couple of years where work has just really consumed, and I've become a slug. So this year, every morning I get up and I meditate, and about 3 to 4 times a week I've started working out again very regularly, and it's made a giant impact in my life.
Yeah.
So just the amount of energy alone that I've had. And the other thing that I think has been a huge improvement is that we have a BlendTech blender, and we do juicing. You can actually throw entire vegetables and fruits in it, so you don't lose any of the fiber. And then when I start my day off with those juices, I feel fabulous.
Oh, I so can relate to the juicing. I've been doing juicing for a month right now, and it makes a world of difference. So I totally appreciate it. So what did you do, Ellen, to really own that commitment?
Well, I was tired of always being tired and kind of negative. I mean, I've been the last year has just been really tough, and I've been, you know, I've known better. So it was more just about saying, you know what, it's time to go back to the right thing.
Yeah.
And you helped a lot, Tammy. You helped in that whole movement a lot for me.
Good, good. That's great to hear, Ellen. That's totally great to hear. Well, you will appreciate this next slide then. You know, the foundation of all our sustainability is, this is some of the things that I've really learned in 2015 that I really want to just kind of stand on the soap stand, if I will. One is celebrate whole, unprocessed foods. You know, shop those outside aisles of the grocery store. If you're putting whole foods into your body, you know, whether it's I don't care if it's meats and vegetables or what it looks like, but if it's whole foods, if it grows, you know, whole in our world, it's a good thing for us. Read the labels. There's so much sugar in just about everything that you buy off of a counter. You'll be amazed at how much, if you're cognizant about how much sugar that you're putting in your body. In fact, I mean, there's work done around sugar about rats, how they'll push if they get the choice between cocaine and sugar, 2 little buttons that they can push, they will go for the sugar over and over and over again. It's really an addictive thing. The other thing I've been doing this year is starting my day with a warm lemon water and a green shake. So a big quart jar like this, you get this in front of you, with lemon. And I drink that first thing in the morning. And then I follow that with another quart jar of green juice, a green shake. And it's awesome. It's amazing. My skin feels different. I feel different. I have more energy, just like Ellen's talking about. And I have less joint pain, which is just amazing to me. 2/3 of your plate should be green when you're making any meal. Drink half of your body weight in ounces of water each day. That's I didn't put water on that bullet point, but that's a lot of water. But you'll feel better. And if you have achy joints, that's, you know, explore what you're putting in your diet and test out. Is it the sugar? Is it the gluten? Is it you're amazed what happens when you start playing around and testing with that. So that's one thing that I want to share with you. Another thing is move like you love to move. choose things you love to do. I don't care if you like to go on a hike. I don't care if you like to go running, if you like to do yoga, whatever it is that is your thing. Choose things that fulfill you. And approach your movement time like you're honoring the goddess that you are. It's not about that, oh, God, I got to go to the gym. It's like I'm going to my gym because I'm taking care of me, this goddess of my body that I need to take care of. So there's a big difference if you can change that, you can shift that mentality with that. And schedule it on your calendar. I know we've talked about this in an earlier session, but that's critical, is putting it onto your calendar. The other things here is really create some good downtime for yourself. Know and honor your natural rhythm cycles. If you're a morning person, if you're a night person, know that, honor it, build your schedules around that. And know that our rhythm cycles change across the different seasons. You know, how you respond to mornings in the middle of the winter and how you respond to them in summertime is probably very different. And just so be cognizant and honor that. Go for 8 hours of sleep. I'm a big believer in that. And relaxation, there's a huge difference between mind-numbing and relaxation. And find ways to relax and find less time to do mind-numbing activities that just, you know, sitting looking at Facebook or things like that. What I'd like you to do real quick is write down 5 ways that you relax well. You like to relax. So just take a couple of minutes. Take a minute to do that, actually, not a couple of minutes.
You know, Cami, I haven't thought about this in a really long time. It's not as easy to just list those as I thought it would be.
Yeah. The things that fill you up. So, speaking of that, we're going to jump right into mind. And Sarah, do you want to take this?
You betcha. So it's a beautiful mind, right? We can have these awesome rock star looking amazing healing bodies and moving and sleeping and relaxing, but I love this quote. It says, a woman with a beautiful body is good for a night, but a woman with a beautiful mind is good for a lifetime. And, you know, for me, I know that I have to really focus in this one because your mind is a funny thing, and it can, you know, take you in a lot of different directions, and so it takes a lot of, I think, energy to say, today this is how I'm going to master my mind or to grow my mind, you know, to be really honoring and sustaining the things that are going on because there's a lot going on. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide, and I want you to just look at the list of things that you see here. All of these items cultivate a beautiful mind. So as you look at this list, what stands out to you? What's one that you're looking like, yeah, that's my mind. That's what I need to do to cultivate my mind. Curious. Desta, can you share kind of what stands out or what you think about when you think about cultivating your beautiful mind?
Probably to learn. I like constantly learning new things.
Yeah, absolutely. So at least 20 to 40 minutes of your day should be devoted to the mind.
Nice.
You've probably heard me say that mental creation precedes physical creation. It's one of the fundamental things that we know about our mind. And if we have this idea that we're going to go and do great things in the world, then we first have to have that thought, right? And so if you want that ability to make your big visions happen, you have to start first here with your mind, your mantras, your self-talk. And so you might want to consider saying, all right, today I'm going to plan 20 minutes to read a book, to learn something, right? You can learn more about yourself or ways of doing business or things that can serve you well, whatever. You can also maybe incorporate 20 minutes to write and to visualize in words the things that you want to see happen, or journal. One of the things in my mind is I know I've got a lot of ideas, but expressing them is sometimes difficult for me. And so if I take what's going on and then I really try to put pen to paper to say, all right, what is it that I'm really trying to drive home with this thought? It opens up a world of difference for me. And I actually did this last night, right before we went to bed. My husband looked at me, he's like, what are you doing? Because I grabbed my little notebook and my pen. I'm like, I just need to write right now. He was like, all right. And so I was writing and I was writing and I was writing, and 10 minutes passed, and he said, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing. Shh. And by the time I was done, it was like 30 minutes had gone by, and I'd filled up a couple of different pages. But the clarity that it brought me on how I was feeling about a particular situation was tremendous. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And I said it, I wrote it, I read it again, and it just made me feel so much more open and ready to move forward. So I say, gosh dang it, if you're not writing things down, try it. Even if you don't even know what to say, just write blah, blah, I'm not sure what to say, but here's kind of how I'm feeling, and I mean, it will really take off for you. If you think you don't have time to journal, think again. Right? If you don't have time to invest in your mind, then what do you have at the end of the day? Right? So I want you to think, do you have a new pattern that you want to create, a new process that you think is going to help you to maybe get rid of some of the extra steps that are just bogging you down? And this is your mind calling to you. You know, what are you being called to learn about? It's funny where Cami said that she always has the best books that just kind of happen, you know, she's reading them. It's the right message at the right time for her clients or herself. I totally feel the same thing. And right now, all of the books and blogs and tweets that are standing out to me are blogs and tweets about just stop waiting. What are you waiting for? Just let's move with this. Get this idea in your mind that you can rock it today, not 20 years from now or 2 years from now. That, you know, what are you waiting for? And I just love that. And it's really helping me to learn and to visualize that, hell, I can do this today. Why wait? So, I mean, you've got to figure that out for yourself, and that mind is where it begins. So if you were to be thinking about your job right now and maybe some things that you're learning around your job to be that rock star that you are, how would you change if you thought about something like the fact that your job could become obsolete tomorrow? You know, what you're really invested in is just all of a sudden gone. What new skills would you need to learn? I want you to just take a second and write that down. If your job were to become obsolete today, what would you want to learn? What would you need to learn? Something for you to then go do Googling around. Right? What kind of books are out there? What kind of people are out there to inspire you? And so forth. And the next slide I absolutely love. And I'm really shifting up and saying, you know, part of making my dreams come to reality is believing it in my mind that I'm worth it and it can. And if I'm imagining it, then it's real. Right? It's not just my crazy, you know, I'm going to be on the stage keynoting at, you know, amazing conferences across the country. It's like, I am going to do that. I'm imagining it because it's a possibility, right? But I've got to back it up with the learning and the inspiration and creating the processes and the procedures to make that shit happen, right? So everything you can imagine is real. One last thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you can shine because the whole universe is yours. I follow on Instagram a yoga person, and this came on last night in my feed. It says, shine like the whole universe is yours, right? And if you believe that, can you imagine all the things that you could do? Again, it's just your mind, right? So rock it on. Let's continue and talk a bit about the next core area, and this is the emotion. And I think the mind and the emotion are definitely connected, right? Because how you feel about something or how you think about something is definitely going to impact how you feel about it. And so when you think about emotion, thinking about, you know, how are you being empathic, right? How are you showing that love to those relationships that matters, those personal board of directors that we talked about last time? But more importantly, what are you doing for others, right? Did you know that when you give to others that could be a really good cure for depression? Right? Being of service, you know, laughing, loving. But sometimes with our emotion, it's easy to take it down the negative. And I hate seeing this because we get into this resentment and it's a major energy drain, right? You can feel all righteous and cool about how you feel, but it's actually totally disempowering when you kind of let your emotion go down into that, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. This is a pretty big dream, or I don't know. If you go down that, it can be like poison, right? And so this emotion piece, it's really about how can I move from, this maybe not a so happy place to putting all my energy in the things that are beautiful, the contributions that you can make to humanity, the things that you can do to pay it forward. Like Cammie and I had a great opportunity to go to a learning circle last weekend, and one of the key messages that I walked away with is that we're here to help each other for the greater, the greater good. And there's so much that you can do from, it doesn't matter if it's buying the Starbucks to the person behind you or just giving somebody a really nice smile. That's really going to shift and frame the rest of your day. And so there's a couple of things that you can do to turn yourself around when you notice that you're starting to go down the, I don't want to, give anybody service because I need the service or something. You can just, first own the fact that you're in charge. Right? You choose to be where you are. So you can walk away from the negative. You can show up in the positive. You can do it with swagger and grace, right? Or you can do it with vengeance, right? Your energy, your choice, right? And just be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Our furnace went out on Saturday, and I don't even know what day it was, Thursday, and my husband was so funny. He's like, this is the world is ending, oh my God. And he was just bitching about the fact that it's going to cost us a lot of money in this time, and my thought was, hell, I'm just happy that we've got money in the bank that we can fix it. And when I told him that, he gave me like the crappiest look. He's like, what are you even talking about? Don't you realize how bad this is? I was like, this is cool. Let's be grateful. More gratitude equals less resentment. Less resentment equals more gratitude. So your emotion, know where you want to go and trust that more good stuff is on the way, right? If you trust that, it's going to be cool. Obsessing about the things that you can't change just robs us of our happiness. And so you got to just be happy. And if you're confident, you give of service, you really live in that love, the rest of it's a piece of cake, right? Let's move on to the next slide, because I love this one too. My dad told me I was emotional one day, and that really pissed me off. I'm like, I'm not emotional. I'm not sensitive. I am a strong woman. But then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute. It's okay to be emotional. And when I'm being emotional, it means that I'm feeling. And I think in today's busy world, we sometimes forget that. It's okay to feel, right? So never apologize for being sensitive or emotional. It's a sign that you have a big old heart and you're not afraid of letting other people see it. And that's the problem that I have. I don't want anybody to see it because they don't want to judge me for being weak, right? And so I'm moving past that. I'm like, no, emotion is strong. Showing your emotion is a huge sign of strength.
It's so funny you say that because just yesterday I was working with a client on that very topic, and she said, I'm sensitive, but I'm strong. And she said, I remember when my mom said I was sensitive, and we started talking about what that did for her in the realm of being able to show up for people, because she was sensitive and she could tune into the emotions of what was going on in the room, and what a great gift that was. So all of us need to develop that sensitivity and that intuitiveness that we have within, and turn that up and not turn it down.
Right, and when I try to stuff it away, it hurts.
Yeah.
And even the stuff that you don't want to deal with, I'm really good at just saying, I'm going to ignore it. Don't think about it. It's not real. And so I just shove it under the carpet. And in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm cool, right? Again, I'm justified. But then, when you actually allow yourself to feel it and to deal with it, it's like, oh, my God.
Yes.
So
it's important to love our sensitivity.
Yeah, open it up. It's beautiful. I remember I was bawling one day, and they're like, oh, my God, you look so beautiful while you're crying. I'm like, oh, my God, shut up. I'm like, but wait a minute. I'm totally just being who I am. I'm feeling the emotion, feeling the spirit. So I think that's a perfect transition to feeling the spirit. Cammie.
There you go. There you go. So I laugh as I take spirit on, because I'll share a secret with you. spirit was never an area I would have guessed that I would have been talking to people about. This was something that's a deep, and it's a deep part of my coaching practice. I talk to people about spirit every single day. For years, that was a piece of me that I like to keep very private and personal. And I think spirit can be very private and personal. And everybody's view and version of spirit is yours and yours to define. So that's the beauty of it. So I'm going to share some spiritual lessons that have been useful for me lately. And some of the things that Sarah mentioned, that we went to a cultural learning circle just a few weekends ago. And this was learning from a Native American medicine man who was teaching just wonderful practices to us and ways that we can slow down and stop and connect. Meditation has been a big piece that I've been learning and experiencing more of, doing on a regular basis this year. And it's an awesome practice, as Ellen was talking about earlier. What an awesome way to start a day is to kind of just clear your mind and give yourself some space. Keeping a journal, and I'll talk about the syzygy herd as well. I like this quote, that the human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it. And when you think about that, we get an incredible amount of strength from our spirit. It's what uplifts us. It's what takes us to new levels. So playing in spirit and exploring in the spirit can really help us grow. So I came across this in a book that I've been reading lately, and this just intrigued me so much that I had to share it with you guys. This is a Tibetan prayer flag, and I have been to Tibet, and I have prayer flags hanging on my deck, but I didn't actually know, and I knew there was a horse on there, but I didn't know the meaning of this horse. It's called a wind horse. It's called Lungta, and wind horse so lung means wind, and ta means horse, and this is your ability to bring about long life, good health, success, and happiness. It's like what an awesome concept. And in a prayer flag, they blow in the wind, and they're blowing those prayers into the world as the wind is flapping them. That's kind of the whole meaning behind them. There's all different ways that we can bring spirit into our world, whether it's a medicine flag, blowing a prayer into the wind, medicine wheels. For those of you who have been to an equine vision journey that we do, you know that we do medicine wheels, which is a way to just tap into a deeper side of us. We do shamanic journeys where, again, you're getting your mind to play in the imagination, letting spirit kind of live up through you. And the equine guided work that we do all helps connect into a deeper spiritual connection. So meditation, we've talked a little bit about it. And some things about, these are steps that, this is one way that you can, a whole series of steps of how you can meditate. But meditation can be as simple as going on a walk in the woods and just being quiet and peaceful out in the woods. It can be going out onto a favorite rock out into in the wilderness somewhere and sitting on that rock and just being there and experiencing the world around you. And there's processes that you can bring in where you can start practice with the breathing. You can play with mantras. You can do all sorts of things that help with that meditation process. But frankly, the easiest thing to do is just to go sit and just be quiet and let the mind become a blank slate.
Tammy, I have to tell you, the mantra piece is big for me because when I sit down and just try to be quiet, it doesn't work. And so the value of the mantra for me is really just giving my brain something else to think about that then leads to the quietness.
Good.
So one that I really liked as I was looking at the whole idea of mantra is every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. And so I just sit there and I think about that over and over. Over and over, I just say that. Yeah. And this is just something it can be whatever your word is or the thing that inspires you. Another consideration is, I change my thoughts, I change my world.
Yeah.
Maybe you just bring that in, and then that opens up something else. Maybe you just like to be quiet. It's cool too.
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate. Last night when I was at a yoga nidra class, and we were just using the word one as our mantra. You breathe in, it was one. We breathe out, it was one. And we just kept, and it was, again, it's just taking our mind off of other stuff. So it does definitely help. Then journaling. This is my favorite. I mean, I journal almost every day, and I think there is so much that comes out of our heart when we just give ourselves space to let that come out. And then, of course, the horses. I had to put this in there because I think there's not a bigger way that we can tap into spirit than putting ourselves out into this space with their essence. It takes us into a whole other realm for being able to connect and hear spirit.
Cami, I think you should tell them the picture, or the story behind the picture of what was happening there.
Oh, the story, yeah. So she was
connected to our four.
That's right. She was crazy busy, not taking care of herself, and working like eons of hours. And she said she went out into a round pen session. She said, I just want to lay down and sleep. And Dakota here laid down in the middle of the ring, and just they actually had like the most amazing time there, where they were both like laying in the sand together, relaxing. It was slowing down. So sometimes the stories of being able to let the horses reflect back to us what we already know in our hearts, and what Spirit's trying to shake us and say, you got to slow down. That's exactly what happened here. Thanks for reminding me that.
Funny.
Yeah.
And our body knows, right?
Yeah.
Our mind knows what we need. Our emotions know what we need. Our spirit knows what we need. As I was eating a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies this weekend, I knew that I shouldn't be doing it, but my mind was like, oh, Sarah, you deserve it. I was like, oh, no, I got to change that frame. So we know. And so, nothing today that we've talked about is like, aha, oh my God, I've never heard that. It's that reminder, that gentle nudge, that gentle gift of, oh gosh, yes, I do. If I want to be total rock star, I can't just put all of my energy in one of these areas. It's got to be something like, my body's telling me I need this, I've got to do it. My mind is telling me I've got to do this, I'm making a commitment. I loved how you started this, with the exercise piece, that you knew you had to do it. So it's really, really important to just listen. So go ahead and take a pause, and as you're looking about those 4 things, I want you to write down 4 things that are coming up for you that you really want to do to help fuel yourself in these areas. So go ahead and just take 1 second. It's a daily practice, and this might be something where you take, a sticky note for each of these 4 things, and you put them on the fridge, and you say, today I'm going to make a commitment to do something in each of these 4 realms. And so you write body on one of these sticky notes, the mind on one, the spirit on one, and the emotion on the other. And by the end of the day, all the sticky notes should be gone.
Ooh, I like
by
that.
the time I do that body, I took that and I put it away. I did something that really stimulated my mind. I read a really rockin' blog. I'm going to take that, put it away. The emotion, I've had that mental pause to say, I'm going to really be in gratitude instead of resentment today. Pull that one out, put it away. Spirit, I'm listening to what my heart wants me to do, and I'm imagining this beautiful thing, and here's what I did to make it happen today. Pulling that off, putting it away. Okay, so that daily commitment, that daily practice.
I love the sticky note.
That's your challenge. The fridge, I'm always going there. Why not put it right in front of your face?
Makes you decide what you want to choose out of that refrigerator, doesn't it?
Is it a Thin Mint or is it an apple?
I'll throw in the recommendation on this book because this is a book that I absolutely love. I was talking earlier about the rhythm of our bodies in different seasons. This book actually goes through all 4 seasons and helps us think about first of all, tune into ourselves to hear what each season our body wants us to know, because all of our bodies respond differently in each season, and ways to just take care of ourselves in each season. It's a fabulous book, so highly, highly recommend it.
The Way of the Happy Woman, I just like that title.
Yes. Yes.
Our jam for this session is really linked back to the body piece and back to the idea of sleep. And you know, everybody has their own kind of sleep pattern. But this guy, he's Russell Foster, and he's a neuroscientist, and so he's got all of the, you know, smarts behind his theory, and he studies the sleep cycles of the brain. And he asks, what do we know about sleep? And he says that we don't know a lot, and so we probably should spend some time there. And it's something that we spend a third of our lives doing, and so we want to do it well. And so he shares popular theories about sleep, why we need it, and he's going to even bust some myths about how much sleep we need in the different ages, and some hints about how sleep can be tied to mental health, which I think is pretty interesting. I know a couple of people that are like, I sleep 3 to 4 hours a night, and they rock things, and I know other people that need 12 hours. And, you know, what do you need? So I think some good mental stimulation to think of some new possibilities for you in that area. So check it out. Why do we sleep? And, you know, since we've been on this journey together for 5 months, I think it's always really great for us to reflect back on those really big things that stuck out. And so we are on Jam 6, right? And so let's rewind a little bit and say, all right, what was the big aha from the first thing? And the first thing that we talked about is that powerful purpose. You know, what are those, you know, values that rock for you? Right? Have you reconnected with them lately? Do they still rock for you? You know, what is it that you want to do? So you've got to start with that powerful purpose, or it doesn't matter, right? The second jam was all about courage, and that not just courage to be you, but courage to say no to things that aren't you, right? That courage to own your time and to only schedule those things that you're really passionate about or that really have to be done, you know, like the laundry. So that courage to say yes to those things that matter most and no to those things that don't. And number 3 was all about those systems of time tracking, you know, the ways that you're going to make stuff work in your system. Is it your iPhone? Is it your Outlook? Is it your paper calendar? Is it a combination? Is it an accountability buddy calling you and saying, hey, when's the last time you worked out? You know, there's a lot of possibility there. And then we moved on to kind of the people side of life. It's like, all right, I'm managing myself. I know what my vision is, but how are my relationships impacting my ability to rock, right? And one of the favorite quotes that I wanted to pull out and remind everybody of was that with people, fast is slow and slow is fast. And we have to take time to show people that we care, and that we really have to surround ourselves with really awesome people. When we do that, life is good. And that as we're surrounding ourselves with those people, that lesson number 5 was all about that listening piece. And, you know, the fact that people just want to be heard. It gives them that psychological air to know that you get it, you care, you don't have to agree, you don't have to judge, you don't have to do anything but just acknowledge and be there for me. Right? So I ask you to ponder, you know, how have you been doing? Have people been saying, you know, gosh, you're really there? Have you noticed the shift because you've had this heightened awareness there? I hope so. And then finally, today it was really about pulling it all together and saying that if you're going to be honoring the amazingness that is you, you've got 4 places to be. Don't just focus in your body. Don't just focus in your mind. You've got to have that whole picture, that core 4, mind, body, spirit, all of those things, your emotions. You control it. And that's why you're here, because you're doing something. You're stepping up. You want to rock out. And I love the fact that you've given time to devote to you. So today, you guys are all living number 6.
Awesome. Absolutely.
So before we move on, I would love to just get a little bit of feedback. And Ken, I didn't put this in here, but I would just like to get some overall feedback. You know, what's really standing out for you? If you've gone through this journey, whether you've gone to all 6 jams or you just were able to pick up on a couple of them, if there was maybe 1 or 2 things that you would share about, you know, what you've pondered as we've gone through this, what would you be willing to share with everybody else on the line with us today? And what you're going to say is going to be exactly what somebody else needs to hear today, by the way.
How about you, Debbie? You there? There's Desta. How about you, Desta?
I think the big one for me was a kind of a combination of two, really, but the time tracking, finding a time tracking system so that you don't get bogged down in the things that, you know, and then the courage for saying no so that you can say the bigger yes.
Yes.
Been really big
Good.
thing.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you, Alan?
Well, this is the first full jam session that I have attended. So,
okay.
But from what I can see, I think the great things about them are just the reminder. I think it's a perfect example of investing in yourself, taking the time to hear and participate. But all of these are great representation of how, as we go through all of our busy times in life, just to remember to take time for us too, for ourselves.
Right.
It's right. We can't do it for everybody if we don't do it for ourselves.
That's right. And you have, and all of Syzygy clients have access to all of these videos on the client site. So just know that those are out there.
Cool.
Anybody Debbie, else? Are you there? Debbie, are you there?
I am sorry, I'm having phone difficulties. And then I missed the question because sometimes I have trouble hearing Sarah speak. I apologize.
Oh, sorry. No, the question was really if there's something that you can share that you really are taking away that's kind of that biggest rock or that thing that resonated the most with you about whatever jam sessions you were able to participate, we'd love to hear it. Kind of what stood out.
Well, I think that I think it was Ellen that just spoke that when she was saying about investing in herself and taking the time, and then I was realizing before this that I feel as if I've been putting everyone and everything in front of me, including my job, to where I finally said, you know what, this is time that I carved out, and I wrote it down physically on paper, on my paper calendar, and I knew about this, and this is more important for me. I need to shift. So I wrote this down. I was like, I need to shift my priorities and really work on investing in myself so that I'm a better person. And then some other things that I took away, like journaling, for whatever reason, writing things down was huge today. And I used to love to write. And I just wanted to say that I initially wrote down, I think I said, maybe think about starting to journal again. And then I quickly crossed out the word maybe and then said, start journaling again.
Good. Yay.
Yeah. So I get excited when I have like pretty notebooks. And so maybe go start out and buy yourself a really amazing-looking notebook that you can't wait to fill the pages.
I have so many pretty notebooks that I'm too afraid to write in them.
Oh, you got to write in them. You know, the other thing that got me going was I got a really nice pen for Christmas, and that
nice.
has made a huge. I love to write with this pen.
I love that.
Thank you for sharing, you guys. So important. And just know that Cami and I are here for support. Let's kind of go through our next steps of what's going to happen since we are kind of done with our jams. We are going to be rewinding the jams. Probably in about April, we're going to relaunch, and know that, you know, you're all welcome to come and rock on with us again. And we invite you to invite others to come and play in this space. We've got a couple of other things that are going to be coming up this spring. Cami and I are headed to Arizona. We've got two really cool workshops. There is a leadership workshop, Leadership Through the Eyes of Horses, where we really identify, you know, what's your calling to leadership and how are you going to make the best contribution to lead yourself and to lead others. And then we've got a 2-day amazing kind of what's your next chapter in life going to look like experience. We call it the Equine Vision Journey. And this is 2 days of awesomeness that you walk out and you've got some really cool goals of, you know, here's how I'm going to step into this next chapter. There are horses involved, there's nature involved, a great community of people. And so we're going to do those in Arizona. in April, and then we've got Colorado dates after the snow goes away here in Colorado. So if you're, your heart's telling you that there's something a little bit more that you want to dig into, and you think it might be helpful to have some guides like the horses and some, coaches like Cammie and I, please consider checking those out because they are amazing every single time. And then, please continue to share your words of wisdom. You can use the hashtag WeBeJammin' because just because these jams are over doesn't mean the learning is over, right? We've now created this community, and so let's continue to hold each other up and create something amazing. And the last thing that I want to share with you is a quote that I saw last night that I loved, and it said, "When I stop struggling, I float. It is the law." And I just love that. So, let's just, rise above and really just start moving in the direction that we know we need to be moving, and don't fight it. And
right. One of my favorite things one of my clients said to me once was, I'm relaxing into my goal. It's kind of that same thing. It's versus trying to push. It's that settling, that relaxing into what you're moving into. It's a completely different energy, and if you're taking care of you first, you can step into that kind of a space. So thank you, everyone, so much, and thank you, Sarah, for joining me on this. And stay in touch, and thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you both.